was gonna spend it with you guys and make a video off it anyway, so I thought I would do a bit of rambling while I eat this cake with you for however long. I don't know if it'll be short or not, but yeah. So I hope everyone's having a really good 15th of November because it's my day. And yeah, that means I'll have 2 uploads today. I think that's a pretty good birthday gift for me, you know? So, anyways, let's sing. So, I got a cake. Fun fact, I actually don't really like cake that much, except I like these specific cakes. They're the Nothing Bundle cakes. These little ones. They're so good. And, I don't know. I really like it because they feel really moist. I know a lot of people don't like that word, but I really like a gooey texture. I don't really like cakes a lot because I feel like they're too dry sometimes. But I got myself a little candle as well. Oh, okay. Sorry, I had to turn on my other light because it kept blurring out. I turned on my other light because I don't know, my camera's been having some problems. But I got a little candle to put on top of it, and I thought we would sing a little happy birthday to me because I don't really celebrate my birthday too much. It's called a mini spark, and I picked it because it's a star, and I like stars above anything else. I really just do like them. Like, they're my favorite thing to add on to anything. But I got nervous after I bought it. How the hell I'm gonna light it? But I guess you just light it from the top. I think you just light it from the top and then down. I don't know. But we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I don't set my whole room on fire. But yeah. It was handmade though. I love packagings like that. But I was gonna do this last night, but I just kind of wanted to sleep instead. Is it weird if I save it? I really like the sound to it a lot. I didn't get a spoon. said, I really like these cakes because they don't feel super bland. Unpopular opinion, I think cakes are very bland inside. I grew up a lot with tres leches cakes. I come from I grew up getting thrown a lot of Mexican styled parties. I come from a Mexican family. Entonces, tres leches cakes were kind of the go-to. They were kind of always the ones I've gravitated the most to. They were always the ones that were made and served to me. So, and I went to a lot of, other Hispanic like parties, and they always tended to have them. So that's why I like my cakes really moist and just kind of wet inside. That sounded really bad. I'm so sorry. Sorry, my 6-year-old little boy mentality thought that was really funny because I'm still a child inside. But yeah, and ever since then, I don't really get them as often. Also, partially just because I don't like cakes that much. But I feel like the ones I got after I was really young, they just felt so dry. If it's not a tres leches, it doesn't taste, I don't know, it tastes too fluffy. That's a good thing, but I don't know. I like mine with a little, But I thought today we can also, it hasn't hit me yet that I've turned 21. I feel like I'm still a 16-year-old. No, that's not true. I feel like I'm still like a year behind. I feel like I'm barely just turning 20. I feel like, and I tell my 2 other friends this, I feel like COVID really set us back a year, at least for me. I felt like I took away from a year, especially in high school, which is why when I became a senior, it just didn't really feel like I became a senior. And I felt like everything from there on forward, I've always felt like I was a year behind. I don't know. So it hasn't hit me yet that I turned 21. That means I'm finally a legal adult, right? Or something like that, which means I can finally buy alcohol. Isn't that like the best part of turning 21? No. I thought today we could just talk about a little bit more about myself, get to know me. I should probably leave it up so you guys can see. My name is Alex, but I do have a middle name. A lot of people don't call me it, but it is Aaron. But I don't like the way it's pronounced in English because there was only one person in the entirety of in my life that I think has only ever really referred to me as Aaron. I prefer it when people call it to me in Spanish or anymore. Well, in Spanish, which is Aaron. Partially because my mom calls me that, doesn't really call me Alex. She'll usually call me Aaron if she needs something. Or sometimes she just forgets my name entirely and just calls me by my brother's name because I'm supposed to respond to that. But like I said, I turned 21, so I was born in November 15th, 2004. And I was actually born, I think, at 5:31 a.m., in case you cared. I was told I was a pretty heavy baby, credited by my sisters, of course. I have siblings. I have 2 older siblings. Oh, 3 older siblings. I'm the youngest of 4. I have 2 older sisters who are in their 30s, and then I have an older brother who's 25, 4. I kind of forget how old he is. 24. worst example of friends, but I didn't really have like school friends until like late middle school. So I remember, because I used to hang out by myself a lot in elementary school, and like from kindergarten to like 5th grade, 6th grade, and I never really like blended in with the crowd as much. This was also the time where in middle school I was discovering myself being gay, which is why I felt like I became so, kind of like a partial reason why I was a bit introverted as well. But then when high school came along, I was very extroverted for everything up until my COVID year. I would say I was probably the most social kid. You know, I was loud, I was that like obnoxious kid, and it didn't help the fact that I was gay either. So you know, that obnoxious gay kid that that would just, you know. But I think that was like one of the first times where I felt like, I don't know, I felt kind of I felt so out and expressive, and I felt so oblivious. Like, I felt for like the first time I felt so oblivious to the world, and sometimes I wish I could go back to that. That just reminded me back in the day when I was in middle school. I used to wear these colorful skinny jeans. If you talk to anybody that I went to school with, that I went to middle school with, everybody will tell you that I used to wear these skinny jeans back when skinny jeans were a thing. But my mom would get them. She'd get these colorful ones. So I'd have these purple ones, these green ones, these blue ones, these like cyan, like, you know, kind of ones. And they were my favorite jeans, and I'd wear them all day. I had like 2 pairs of each color, and I would love wearing them. They were like my go-to jeans, skinny jeans, you know. And it just takes me back, because some people always remind me of it, that I used to wear them a lot, and I did. But I think it's just really funny, because who else was wearing bright neon skinny jeans at middle school? I think it's just funny to kind of look back on, and I kind of try to forget it ever happened, but I think it's quite funny. What else? Oh, for any astrology people, that makes me a Scorpio, but I feel like I'm a little bit better, because I feel like October Scorpios, November Scorpios are kind of underrated, you know? Like, I feel like Scorpios get bad reps because of October people, but like November people are different. That also makes me a water sign, by the way. I don't know what any of it means, but you know, there might be somebody out there that like can tell me what my future lies. Well, I kind of finished. I really thought the cake was gonna be more sweet, that I wasn't gonna finish it. I'm a sweet tooth person for sure. That's another thing about me. I'm very much of a sweet tooth person, but sometimes things can be way too sweet, and I thought that was gonna be super sweet, but it kind of wasn't. And I'm about to finish it. I feel like you guys couldn't see it, but it's just because this thing is dangling, and yeah, but I am eating it. My life wasn't super interesting by any means. I say that because I don't know, I think I lived a pretty boring, but very, I wouldn't say boring, more like mundane, nothing super crazy, but also nothing super exciting, you know? When I was younger, I really liked handball. If you guys know what that is, it's like you play, you know, I was really good at it, and it was like one of the best things. I wish it became like a professional sport. Maybe I could have done was younger, I liked going to the park a lot too, because my mom didn't really, my parents worked really hard, but my mom did more of like the in-house stuff. Like I said, I grew up in a Mexican household, so, you know, the mothers tended to set up dinner and clean and things like that. Whereas the dad, you know, he did the hard labor stuff, but also, when he doesn't do anything, he would take me to the park. And I remember vividly, what's it called? I would go there with my dad a lot, because when my dad wasn't working, or he didn't have really much else to do, like on the side, he would, you know, spend time with me and my brother. And I remember a lot of memories just being pushed on the swing, because I really liked the swing when I was younger. And I'd always remember going to get 7-Eleven sometimes and get these blue slushies, the raspberry one, the blueberry ones, of course, the blue one, because the blue was my favorite color at the time. And I liked that particular color of blue because when I was younger, I also really hated the way blue is, like, you know, the crayon box. You would find blue and it's like that dark blue, which I still stand by. I don't think that's a pretty good blue. I think like a cyan, cyan color is a much more better representation of a blue than whatever that blue is on that crayon box. But I really liked that blue in particular, so I'd always get it. And it reminded me one time of I was being pushed on the swing and then I dropped with it and I was very sad. But it also reminds me of the time where I used to have a bike and I loved that bike. It was a green bike, and one time we took it out to the park. And so the way this park is, it's like this big gray sidewalk, and it's like obviously to walk, and it's like this big circle at the bottom where it's like the playground, the swings and things like that, and then kind of a little up. It's not super steep, but it's pretty slanted in the sense that like you can, you know, like if you go down with the bike, you're gonna get momentum. And I think I underestimated it, and then I fell really bad. And this is where I have 2 gashes on my legs because of them, because I got them on both, and so I have that on me because I fell. And the most embarrassing part about it all was, I'm pretty sure there was a couple of like middle schoolers or high schoolers there as well, and you can hear them shouting I just remember being on the floor and hearing them from the other end. Some guy asking, "Are you okay?" I don't know, you just saw a 6-year-old little boy fall out on the side of a really pretty steep. You know, sometimes I don't like to think people are dumb, but it's also like asking somebody who got hit by a car, "Hey, are you okay?" Getting at it. Like, you just hit somebody with a car, and then you ask the person that you hit, "Are you okay?" Like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, and it was low-key kind of embarrassing, but I wasn't so embarrassed because then as I got up, I picked myself up, went to the restroom. My dad got really mad at me. And instead of saying, "Oh my God, are you okay?" he kind of was just telling me how stupid I was for it. So, and that it's my fault. And then I was in pain for like the next week. But, yeah, and then I think ever since then, also, I've gotten hit by a car by it too. I got hit by a car with it once, but that's not the only time I've gotten hit by a car 3 times. Which isn't something to laugh about. It's really sad, but it makes me laugh every time because I think that's actually a really cool fact. Like, tell me you don't know another person who's gotten hit by a car 3 times. I'll wait. That's right, because you haven't thought. One time I was on my bike. That was the first time. The second time I got hit by a car, I was walking with my grandpa, and he got hit by it. I kind of just got, like, because I was next to him, because he used to walk me to my elementary school. And And then the third time, I was walking to go meet up with a friend, and he had like hit me on the side. It wasn't like a full-on hit, but like he hit me on the side. Like he like didn't wait for me to finish crossing the street. So yeah, okay. Anyways, so yeah, and you'd think I'd be rich by now. But that's something pretty cool about me. I don't know. I've always wanted to do a video in which I recount a lot of my childhood memories, which I guess is what I'm kind of doing. But I feel like you guys get to know a little bit more about me because of it. But I don't know, they're all pretty vague a lot of the times. So I feel like there isn't much to really, there isn't like specific, but yeah. Well, everyone is now starting to get up from my house, which means that's my cue to wrap this up. I know it ended up so abruptly, and also I know they weren't really much of a facts type get to know me, but rather just telling you a little bit about myself and my little childhood. So I guess there's a little that to it, and kind of how I became the person that I am now. So I hope that you guys liked it. I hope that you guys, got to know me a little better. Let me know if you guys want to hear more of those stories. But like I said, they're pretty vague. But yeah, I will have a really good day. I will try to spend it very, very well and not super boring. But I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, I hope to see you guys very, very soon. And I will see you guys in the next one. And you guys probably didn't go to sleep to this, but maybe you did. Maybe you saw my first video and couldn't go to sleep, and now you're watching this one, and now you are asleep.